Hello friends and welcome to Lesson 9, Carving Mount Rushmore in our CKL Domain 12, Presidents and United States Symbols. I want you to listen carefully for details about how Mount Rushmore was created and who was involved. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about a wonderful monument. This is a special monument of 4 presidents we've been learning about: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. This monument is carved or cut out of the rock in the Mount Rushmore in the Black Hills of South Dakota. This map highlights where the Black Hills is and where Mount Rushmore is located. Boom! Everyone near the mountain was covering their ears, but they still heard the thunderous explosion followed by the loud crashes. Boom! It happened again. Gutzon Borglum was blowing up a mountain. Gutzon Borglum was a well-known American sculptor. A sculptor is someone who creates a work of art by carving or molding clay or stone. He created many statues of important people in history. One of his statues was Abraham Lincoln is on display inside the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Gutzon Borglum usually used a hammer and chisels with sharp points to make sculptures out of rock. But this statue was different. This time, Gutzon Borglum was using dynamite to blow away huge pieces of rock from the side of a gigantic mountain. It all began with a man who had a big idea. A very big idea. Dwayne Robinson loved his home state of South Dakota. He loved hearing stories about South Dakota from long ago. He loved South Dakota so much that he wanted people all over America to visit and learn more about his home state. I know a way to get people to come to South Dakota, thought Robinson. People will come to see a giant statue carved inside of one of our big mountains. Robinson thought that the sculpture should feature well-known people from South Dakota's past, maybe a Native American chief, or a hero from the Wild West, or perhaps explorers like Lewis and Clark. He wasn't quite sure who the statue should feature, but he did know one thing. It would have to be so big that people could see it from miles away. Robinson knew that he would need to get permission to build such an enormous statue. He would also need money to pay for the project and a sculptor to design it. The first person Robinson talked to was the United States Senator from South Dakota. This is a picture of him on the right. The senator thought it was a wonderful idea. I will help get the United States government to agree with your plan, the senator told Robinson. I will ask my friends in South Dakota government for their support too. Not everyone thought the idea to carve a giant statue in the mountains of South Dakota was a good one. For many, many years, various Native American tribes lived on the land around Mount Rushmore. Many Native Americans, including the Lakota Sioux, believed that the area of the Black Hills where Mount Rushmore was to be carved was sacred or holy land. They did not think it was right that their sacred land was first taken away from them in earlier years, and now they did not believe that the statue should be carved into the mountain. Despite the Native Americans' objections, Robinson and the senator moved forward with their plan to find the sculptor. That means that even though the Native Americans did not want them to carve into the mountain, they did it anyway. They found the perfect man for the job, Gutzon Borglum. Borglum came to South Dakota to see the mountains himself. He loved the idea of carving a huge statue into the Black Hills, but he believed the project should be even bigger than Robinson and the senator first imagined. To attract people all over America, the sculptor said, we should carve statues of people who are familiar across the country, not just well known in South Dakota. Robinson and the senator liked Borglum's idea. It was Borglum who suggested 4 presidents who he felt symbolized the first 150 years in America: Presidents Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt. President George Washington was our first president. President Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. President Lincoln was president during the Civil War, and President Roosevelt, a personal favorite of Borglum's and Robinson, worked for nature conservation. With the support of others, Gutzon Borglum began to search the Black Hills for the right spot to carve his monument. No, he thought, this rock is the one that's not the right kind for carving. It will crumble and fall apart. This mountain has the right rock for sculpting, but it cannot be seen from a very far away distance. Finally, Borglum announced, We shall carve Mount Rushmore. American history will march along that mountaintop. Now, the only thing the group needed was the money to pay for the project. As luck would have it, Calvin Coolidge, the U.S. president at the time, and his wife came to South Dakota on vacation. To make sure that President and Mrs. Coolidge enjoyed their visit, the senator and his friends secretly moved extra fish into the stream outside the Coolidge's vacation cabin. They hoped the president would catch lots of fish and would want to stay in South Dakota longer. It worked. While he was there, Gutzon Borglum and Dwayne Robinson went to ask the president to help raise the money for their project. President Coolidge liked the idea too. He gave a speech about their plan so people from all across the country would read about it and send money to help. Finally, Gutzon Borglum could begin carving the mountainside top of the monument.